Competitive games cover an impressive breadth of styles, genres, and concepts. Some are more strategic, some more reflexive, but the best of them are creative. And not creative like competitive painting, though that is creative. More creative like using mix-ups, using mind games, tricks, and last-second decisions that the players have to make up on their own. Lethal League endeavors to be this kind of game, but not with fists and swords and guns or massive armies, but with the ball. Let's break it down. No story, no meta, no fluff, and no weak shit. Lethal League is a competitive game in which players pile into a 2D room and smack an impressively durable ball back and forth. Gameplay is all kinds of Newtonian, as the ball, once in motion, will continue with infinite inertia due to the selective effects of gravity and friction. Characters use their weapon of preference, from a baseball bat to a skateboard, to peg each other at ridiculous speeds. Charging your attacks, bunting, or unleashing your special mix up the action as the ball begins to break the sound barrier. Lethal League takes the idea of competitive sports to insane levels, but is it rated S? It's impossible to generalize what makes a competitive game fun and what gets in the way. For instance, in 2D and 3D fighters alone, they use entirely different methods to engage their players. So if I don't compare Lethal League to X plus Y or say it's of some kind of genre, it's because I don't want to make any comparisons that are misleading. It's a very specific kind of game. Lethal League's approach to competition is straightforward. Watch the ball, know the batter, play the player. In every game of Lethal League, the ball starts in the middle of the court in a neutral state. Once a player hits the ball, it gets tagged with their color, thus crediting them for any hits they score on other players. If it's your ball, it won't hurt you, only your opponent's. If you want, you can rack up multiple hits on the ball or even let it fly by. The only thing you have to do is not die, which can be a bit difficult when shit like this happens. So how does that even begin? Well, here's where the watch the ball piece of this game comes in. See, this hit animation is the neutral swing. If you make contact with the ball from a neutral swing, you can let the ball go straight, aim it up, or aim it down. You can mix up your reaction to keep players on their toes as to what angle the ball will travel in, because the swing animation is the same no matter which way it goes. However, hitting the ball ain't free. Every neutral hit ups the ball's speed by 1. Now, I'm not sure what that number is measured in, like balls per unit of ball something? I don't know, but that's how it works. Hitting the ball while moving in midair results in a smash, which speeds the ball up considerably. As per this game's weird comprehension of physics, the faster the ball gets, the more of a reaction you have to hitting it. During this time, you can move around pretty freely. You'll hit the ball and it'll almost instantaneously go in whatever direction. So a lot of the outs that are going to happen in the early game are going to be because people are unpredictable, doing shit that just, I didn't think you were going to do that. And that's a lot of fun. But as the ball gets faster, the game kind of slows down, ironically. Let me explain. Once the ball starts hitting around 100 or so, your character will pause to absorb the force of the ball and redirect it back outwards. During this time of hit stun, the ball and the character hitting it are now totally frozen, but everyone else is free to vie for position. Depending on how fast the ball is moving, most people are going to have a pretty tough time following it as it happens, so you're more likely going to predict its trajectory. This is where Know the Batter comes into play. Each of the 5 characters have different speeds, mobility options, and special hits, but more importantly, they have different hit angles. The delightfully ridiculous Candyman's smash angle is harshly acute, whereas Switch's angle is more obtuse. If you don't know this, you're gonna do one of 2 things constantly. A, you're going to run right up to the person while they're under hit stun and hit the ball the moment it lets go, or B, you're going to bounce around, flailing your weapon like you're being swarmed by bees. At first, the former is going to be super satisfying. You hit the ball and it's got that crazy thud and the colors go fucking bonkers, the speed numbers go crazy and the background is all deteriorating, and that feels awesome. But you keep doing it over and over and you start to notice a pattern. You're going to want to mix it up if you want to ever get anywhere. And if you do the latter, well, you look like a fucking idiot. So, don't do that. The easiest way to mix things up in Lethal League is to bunt. Bunting severely reduces the ball's speed and instantly redirects it either straight up, straight down, or arcing away from the bunter. Obviously, that's nuts, because if the ball's moving at like 20,000 balls per ball and you tap it, you're gonna lose your fucking limbs. But this game's physics don't really care, so it works. In the event of a bunt, all of a sudden there's a scramble to hit that ball because there's almost no hit stun on a bunted ball, and you get 2 bars of meter for it. Bunting's not difficult either, it's just a simple button press, so its efficacy all comes down to how it's used. The bunt can outsmart opponents, it can upset momentum, it can grant you your special early, and it can just as easily work against you. Bunting is the first part of what I call playing the player, and while it's not the main focus of Lethal League, knowing why, when, and where to bunt is crucial to keeping your opponent guessing, and that is the main focus of Lethal League. Along with bunting, special moves add to the mix-up element of Lethal League. The range of specials is diverse, from Raptor's double hit switcheroo to Latch straight up eating the fucking ball. Which is fucking gross, and would most likely be ruled against if this game had referees. But I heard they tried that already, and Latch just ate them too. Each hit on the ball gets you 1 bar of meter, 2 if you cash in a bunt, and 0 for doing the actual bunting. Once you get 4 bars, you can invoke your special on any hit. Each special is activated by double tapping, except for Switches, who can jump around while his is active. Early in the game, busting a special out is instantaneous because the hits are, and as such can lead to quick and startling outs because specials mess with the rules. All of that is fantastic. Busting out Candyman's Pac-Man-esque special while someone's sleeping on the other side of the map and getting it out, super satisfying. However, if you do your special too early in the hit stun, it's gonna be obvious that you're gonna do it, and you'll get stopped. Fancy that, you can activate your special at any time during the hit stun. This, again, keeps your opponent guessing. However, so far I've mostly talked about offense, and there's more to this game than that. I mentioned earlier that often people will simply jump at someone as they're charging the ball and hit it right as it re-enters play. This sounds like it would require pretty insane timing, but there's a convenient little equalizer-esque bar down here which, once full, signals the release of the ball. As such, getting all up in people's grills and putting buns on their patties before they're ready isn't as difficult as it is in real life. This very present danger forces a necessity for defensive options, shielding and hit charging. Shielding is the more obvious line of defense, as everyone except Captain America would think of a shield as being defensive. While in hit stun, bunting will, instead of switching from a hit to a bunt, briefly activate a small shield around the ball. If anyone swings or bunts into the shield while activated, they get stunned and fly away from the ball. However, it costs all the meter you currently have to use. Timing your shields just right? Easy way to get kills in Lethal League, especially if you aim your hits correctly, making shielding a terrifying form of defense. Every time you get a hit, you get a little bar of meter, and that means you can use your shield, so you can shield whenever you want. But do it too much, and you get predictable, it stops working for you, so it's a give and take. Sometimes you shield, sometimes you special, it's all part of crafting a creative game plan. While every game of Lethal League is going to spider out in a myriad of ways with different actions and reactions coming into play, there are plenty of chances for a guaranteed hit. That's where the final piece of the game, the charge hit, comes into play. If you charge your swing and successfully collide with the ball, it's as though you cashed in a bunt, resulting in far less hit stun. This is the ultimate mix-up because even as your opponent watches you charge, there's no guarantee which direction you'll send the ball. At high speeds, guessing wrong is killer. And that's the crux of this entire game. You have tons of valuable, viable options for keeping your opponent guessing. The second to second is hyped through the damn ceiling, and the speed with which things occur at first demands a lot of dexterity. But ultimately, Lethal League is a game of wits, of creativity, and contesting your opponent's mind. Lethal League is one of the most cognitive and in-the-moment competitive games that I've ever played, and I've played a lot. Beyond just learning the characters, everything that's going to happen, that's going to make or break your victory or loss, is going to happen on the court. There's no combos, so there's no guaranteed damage, there's no hit confirm, no meta strategies, none of that. Since you have to come up with your own creative plan on the fly in the game, every match is self-encapsulated. And for that reason, for the demand of creativity, Lethal League is rated S. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it, and if you did enjoy it enough to do some extra stuff, don't forget you can like, comment, and subscribe to help me out immensely. Speaking of things to appreciate, it has been 2 years since I started making videos, which is ridiculous, and I have gotten way farther than I ever imagined I would have. And it's all thanks to you guys who showed up in the first place, who have stuck around, and literally any single person who has ever showed any of my videos to anybody they know, either through Twitter or directly to them. That stuff helps so much. Thank you very much. Now, I know that some of you might be like a little bitter about the fact that I dropped the sandwich. I apologize, but the sandwich had to go. Had to change it to make room for growth in the channel. Yay. If you want, do a little rest in peace sandwich thing. Send me a picture of a sandwich that you ate recently. Wait, no. Do it before you eat it. I don't want to look at your shit. And thank you to Luke Sizemore, aka Youngtown, for this new fucking tune, because it's legit. Bye.